So I've owned my Porsche 718 Cayman GTS 4 now for just over a year, and I thought it was about time that we did a little bit of an update and a health check and any feedback on anything about this car that I probably want to pass on. Now, I did the same thing with my 992 after I had that for a year, and I think it's worth just quickly going around this and doing some of the similar comments and just a little bit of feedback over usage and mileage and oil and tyres and possibly any other thing that I can think of that may need feeding back about the car. So the first thing that we will take a look at is the mileage, and we will show you how many miles I've done, and I will discuss how and why I have done them. So this 718 is actually my daily driver. I use it every day to get backwards and forwards to work, and like my 992, it has not had very far to travel, although this time round I actually changed jobs and I'm travelling about twice the distance that I did in that 992. As you can see there, I've done just under 6,000 miles. Now, to be fair, at about the 12-month mark, because we're a little bit past that now, I probably done about 5,600, 5,700. So if you think about it, according to Google, when I looked before, there's 260 working days in a year. Now, if I was working all of them and I was doing roughly 7 miles to my workplace and 7 miles back, that's 14 miles a day. So if I was just going backwards and forwards to work, that's just over 3,000 miles. Now, if I was going the longer way backwards and forwards to work on the way back in and out, it's actually about 24 miles a day when you work it out. So that would bring me somewhere up to over the 6,000. Now, I reckon because I was doing a lot more of the 24-mile journey when I first got this car until I realised how many miles I was actually doing, I've started going the shorter distance. So over the next 12 months ownership, hopefully I shouldn't be hitting anywhere near the 11. I should be staying really, let's hope somewhere around the 8 or 9 mark if I'm absolutely careful. Now, talking about that, journey-wise, we have tyres to consider. So after 12 months of usage, how many millimeters have I taken off my tyres? Okay, so new tyre treads are roughly 8 mil. Now, I've been around and measured all 4 corners of this car, and I've used my little digital gauge, and it's probably not as accurate as it could be, although it is pretty good. And I've been round, and the 2 back tyres I'm running around about 6 mil, give or take just under 6 mil. And the front tyres, I reckon I'm running about 6.5 mil. Now, I think the tyre wear on the fronts maybe is a little bit uneven. On the back, it seems pretty even. Hopefully, if I've only taken off 2 mil in about 6,000 miles, I'm not going to be needing any new tyres come the first service time, which will be about the 10,000 or 2 year mark. So let's see where we're at around then. Hopefully I'm not down any further, and if I'm doing less miles, maybe I'll have taken a little bit less tread off those tyres. Now, if you watch one of the previous videos, you'll know that I gave a little bit of an update about the fact that I had to put some oil in this car. Now, when I did that, I actually had to put in about 2/3 of a litre to get it back from being a warning light to being about halfway through the min and max. Now, this car has again decided that in here we need to put some more oil. Now, that oil requirement was actually basically wanted me to put another 2/3 of a bottle in, but I only had 1/3 left out of the bottle that I've got, so I'm going to have to get some more. So if we get ourselves back into the oil menu screen, you can see we'll go in there, oil measurements, and at the moment, if you can see, it is just above the min mark, and it says the oil level is correct. Now, I probably want to put a little bit more in there, but so far within the first 6,000 miles that we've done, just shy of 6,000, this thing has drank a litre and probably wants another half a litre minimum to get that up to the middle of those 2 lines. So the other thing that needs to be discussed outside of wear and tear and oil and tyres is probably how I'm doing with the MPG in this car, with it being the 4-litre GTS. Now, using the trip, I keep an eye on it and I just have a look, because I've been looking at the distance that I've been doing backwards and forwards. So at the same time, I'm getting the average MPG on the trip. Now, if I'm doing the shorter distance is a lot of stop-start. Now, that is traffic lights, 20-mile-an-hour roads, traffic, and I'm probably averaging, it reckons on there, about 17 to 18 mile per gallon. Now, if I go the longer distance and I get on a little bit of dual carriageway, I'm doing sort of 60s, 70s, and I'm not stopping at loads of lights in sort of urban traffic, I am getting somewhere around the 22, 23 mark when I'm looking at that screen. So I know it's an average in the car. I'm not taking sort of the petrol out of the tank and I'm working it against the costs and the miles, etc. But that is a rough guide that is always fairly consistent. Now when I get a good run out of this car and I'm on the motorway or the dual carriageway and I'm using it at weekends and I'm getting it up to temperature and everything, I think I'm getting up somewhere in about the 25s, and I'm not doing any long distance driving in this car. So I really do, over the next 12 months, need to get out and about when the weather gets better after the winter here and do some longer distances to see where I get to on that. So last but not least, have I come into any maintenance issues on this car outside the normal wear and tear that I was going to have to cover? Well, when I first owned one of these cars, it was the 2-litre version, and that was back in 2018. That car I had to take back in because the rear tailgate that's up at the moment was squeaking something chronic because it needed a little bit of adjustment. Now it was rattling so bad I had to actually take it back to the dealer and get them to do it because I didn't quite know how to adjust it. Now this boot lid is kept in place and it stops it from moving around so much is these here, which you can turn to get a little bit of adjustment. And the other thing that I used to know that somebody said used to rattle, if you can see, this kind of pushes up and down with the stops on. On my other car I had to put a little bit of foam on here to try and take up some of the slacks. I don't think this spring was as sort of tight as it could have been. And the other things that can rattle in this car are these. Now they've got sort of grooved bits in there to try and stop them going, but there's nothing particularly stopping them from rattling because it's plastic on plastic. So if they get a little bit slack, they did used to rattle, and I did find the way to stop that from rattling was just to take them off and put them in the boot. But so far I haven't had any issues with them, and so far I haven't had any particular issues needing to adjust these. And the reason is particularly that I just don't open this boot very much, and I try to keep this as clean as I possibly can. I always use the front. Now the other thing that might actually rattle is this, which is obviously your screen for covering the boot, and these are sort of locked in place by the 2 screws that are here. I've tried tightening these things on and off at times, but I think basically if you're hearing any vibration, a lot of the times it could be this on roads and it's just giving you a little bit of rattling noise. But other than that, so far I haven't really had any issues with this making too much noise. So one thing that I have noticed that is wrong about this car, it's not particularly a failing of the car, it's something that must have been done during manufacture, is that the seat belt seems to be twisted. So if you pull it across and you plug it in, you can see that from the shoulder to the buckle it's okay, and from here across it's nice and flat, but then you get to here and you notice that it's twisted. Now it took me a while to notice that, and I don't know how easy it is to change this because as you can see there's no way of actually twisting it 360 degrees to get it to go the right way. It hits the bottom of the car. So I don't know if you can just take this off or whether they can do a maintenance thing on it at the dealer, but I've just never had time to take it in, and I don't know if this is any sort of safety issue or whether it's just something to bear with and take it and get it sorted the next time I have it in for service. So after 12 months of ownership, is there anything that's really cropped up on this car that I need to consider, having now had both this and a new 992? Well, they are 2 different cars, but at the same time I actually enjoy this car more because of its 2-seater profile than I do the 911 with its 2+2. The interior of this car I think doesn't squeak or rattle or have any sort of plasticky to it that the 992 did. Some of the buttons in there were a little bit flimsy and seemed a little bit, I don't know, cheap, I think other people have said. And this one I still feel like it's built like a Porsche. Outside of that I wouldn't say too much else. I think I'm really enjoying owning this car. I'm hoping I'm going to get another year out of it before I get to the service and need to do any sort of extreme cost maintenance in terms of tyres and things like that. But other than that, I think the only thing that's hurting this car at the moment is its second-hand value, just because of the demand and the fact that basically the world is in a little bit of a financial dip at the moment, meaning that not a lot of people are chasing luxury cars, and I think anybody that's now parted with their car has it sitting on a forecourt, which seems to be affecting whether traders actually want to buy this car at the moment.